Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to go into the Logitech challenge and try again for session 2. If you didn't see session 1, it got us into the top 20%, and hopefully today by the end of the video we will be in the top 10%. That is the goal anyway, so let's see what we can do. Enjoy. We are on track with our McLaren in orange. Let's get warmed up. Thank you everybody for joining in as we try to better our lap times for the Logitech challenge through Forza. I have not done nearly enough practice in this car to be able to place where I want to, but that is kind of the whole point of this little series I'm doing, is to show you guys what it is like to push in these kinds of things. And if you really want it, it is possible. Moving on to our first lap here, I found that it was actually very important to try to keep as much speed coming through this little S section. You will see continuously through the video how the ghost cars just pull away from us. But as the video goes on, you'll see that we will get a little better and better and better through there. I'm gonna fast forward now through the rest of the first lap because it is kind of hard to keep these videos entertaining, so I'm gonna try to just keep it moving throughout this one. And coming into the final 2 turns, you see how far the ghost is in front of us. We're not too far off for our first lap. What I want to do is be able to be either in front of that car or right behind that car before I actually really start pushing myself. You'll see in the top corner that the time we set is a 1:20 flat, just about, and that's not too bad. But we want to get back to our 1:18.9 before we really go in and push for that 17. Because going from an 18.9 to a 17, that is a whole second we have to make up there. And in racing, a whole second is quite a difference. And you see we made a mistake testing the racing line and going off track limits. So we're going to fast forward and finish this lap out, because that is important to make sure you at least finish your laps before moving through onto a next one instead of just skipping. I reassure you, I did all 7 of those laps. I did not skip any of them, even though in the video we skipped 5. This lap right here though is going to put us back at our 1:18.9, which is what we want to be at before really pushing ourselves. So for the rest of this lap, I'll kind of give you my braking zones and lines for the pace that we are at. So coming down the straight here into turn 4 underneath the banners, at 200 bore we start braking to go down to gear 4. We're gonna max it out in the rev limiter, brake as soon as we start hitting that curb area, upshift into 5th, coming around the turn. Down the hill, we're gonna brake around the 100 meter board, keep it in 5th, drift it a little bit, hitting the gas until we get close to that red wall on the right hand side. That's gonna be our braking for that. Downshift in the 3rd, back up in the 4th, let off the gas, just kind of coast around it, and then hit the gas as much as we can without hitting this wall, which we do a couple of times. And then across the line, we are at the 1:18.8, as you see right there. So now, what we're actually gonna go do is we're gonna quit out of this. Yes, I want to finish. We're gonna go back to the main menu, try to find a replay to watch, and then follow his ghost. We are in the replay following the top time in my region, which is the Americas, if you couldn't tell by, the accent and all that. But what we're going to look for is gears, braking zones, lines, the racing stuff. Change the camera angle to what I'm using. That way the visuals are, the same. Before that little crotch area there, and it's going to go into 4th gear. Off and on the gas a little bit, feathering it back and forth. Full throttle, gear 5, gear 6. He really is on the line with limits. Okay, this braking zone, let's take a look. Oops, wrong button, sorry. Starts braking before the little pole. You see the pole there on the side of the road? Like the telephone pole. We're going to try to use that as our braking point for this. Down in the 4th. Up in the 5th. Okay, so he starts braking right before the 100-meter board. Keeps it in 5th. Comes through. That's a tough one. When we start seeing that red, I guess, is when we want to start hitting the brake. Downshift in the 3rd. I think that's what we've been doing. And then this turn right here, I think I'm struggling with, but I'm not positive. He keeps it in 4th. Keeps a lot of speed through there. Okay, make him our training ghost. Okay, we are back in, and for this part of the session, what we want to actually do is push as much as we can and try to beat our time and our goal, which is to reach somewhere, anywhere into a 117. We can do that in this session. We're doing pretty good. So, let's go. So we are back in the car and back on track, and we are going to do our best to follow this beast of a man in this car. I have no idea how these guys can set a 115 in this car. You see, we already make a mistake in the first turn trying to keep up with them. This is only lap 1 though, and we only need 1 lap to count. So let's see what happens with the rest of our session here. As you see, he's already hitting the straight as we are making way through those S's. And fast forwarding, we're just going to keep working our way around the laps, chip away at some times, hopefully, and get to our goal of the top 10%. I'm going to let you guys watch for a little bit, and then we will pick back up after a few laps. Okay everybody, there we go. We have officially beat our last time and moved to a 1:18.4. As you see, we get a little distracted by it as we make a mistake, but that's okay. We've moved up and have just a few more fractions of time to chip away. Now, I only go for a few more laps because I start to forget how to drive, as you see in the next couple laps when I fast forward. We just continue to start making mistakes later in the session, so we know that we have to make it either now or it is not going to happen this session. So we push ourselves even harder to try to make it possible. During this lap, we lost our momentum somewhere, but it was hard for me to actually figure out where. As you see, we're just dropping in our lead time and actually go back into the red across the line. So we go for another lap, and how close can we keep to the back of this car? Let's see, not too bad actually, we're doing okay. One of the better first turns that we have done so far. Going into the S's, we keep our foot pinned as much as we can. We don't want that ghost to get away from us. And we slide a little bit, but we managed to keep it, and we drop back down in our time. So we then skip to another lap, and another lap, and another lap, and then finally, lap 11, we catch a break, or we remember how to drive. I'm not sure which one it was, but here you go. This is our best lap right here. 4th gear pinned, up in the 5th gear, through the S's, up in the 6th gear, having our foot to the floor as much as we can, riding some curb, hitting the curb on the inside. You see we actually got all the traction off of that one. So we're chasing the ghost down the straight, through the banners. We're looking for the curb on the left-hand side to start braking. There it is. We start hitting the brake, go down in the 4th gear, let it drift, back on the gas, back up in the 5th, back down in the 4th, around the turn, hitting the gas, pinning it as much as we can. We're seeing that ghost drift away from us in front, braking at the 100-meter board down the hill, trying to catch back up. That red's coming up. We're hitting the brakes around this. We still see him. He's not too far away. Up in the 4th, let the car rotate around, back on the gas. We're going to come up to the line, and what is it going to be? It is going to be a 1:18.0. So not a 1:17, but that is pretty darn close. And you'll see the rest of the session, we kind of just lost everything that we were up to, and eventually we kind of call it quits and go back to the main menu to see how we placed. Thank you for making it this far in the video. If you did, if you have any recommendations on how to make these more interesting or more entertaining, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed watching it, and from present me, goodbye, and past me, we'll catch up with you at the very end and show you how we finished. Okay guys, there you go. That's how session 2 went. We didn't quite make it into a 17, but we got very close. But on the positive news, we did move up to our goal of top 10%. So please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed.